Finally, I won! I just played Monopoly with my friends. Monopoly is my favorite board game. Speaking of board games, that's what today's show is all about. CVTV starts now.
This is CVTV.
Before we start playing, let's go over some announcements. When playing board games, you can wear anything you want. But at school, 6th graders wear charcoal gray, 7th graders wear red, and 8th graders wear black. No holes, rips, tears, or frays in your jeans, and no hoodies unless it's LHMS. To support CVTV, follow us on Instagram at official CVTV News, and scan this QR code to subscribe to our YouTube channel too. During board games, you have to follow the game rules, but here at LHMS, we follow RAP, respectful, responsible, active learner, and problem solver. Before we go to Sakshi, let's go over the math problem of the day. The problem of the day is 2x plus 5 equals 10. Now let's go to Sakshi to find out some more history about board games.
Board games have been around for centuries and are fun to play for all ages when you're bored or just want to have some fun. But speaking of board games, today we'll be talking about the history of board games. Did you know that the first board game was made over 6,000 years ago? It was called Senet. This is the world's oldest board game and was created by ancient Egyptians back in 2620 BC. This game is pretty hard to play, but uses modern pieces we have today like a dice, and it's similar to the game chess. But nowadays, we have more games like Monopoly and Scrabble, which came from this game. Lastly, early-made board games were made to entertain people, but game designers realized they could also be fun and bring people together. Well, I'm gonna go play some board games with my friends, but don't forget, I'm Sakshi, reporting for CVTV.
Wow, that's really interesting. Now let's go over the history fact of the day. The history fact is that the city of Anaheim was incorporated for the first time. The ELA fact is that a claim must be arguable but stated as a fact. It must be debatable with inquiry and evidence, and it is not a personal opinion or feeling. Now let's go over the science fact of the day. The fact is, pH is defined as the negative log of hydrogen ion concentration. Now let's go to Kaylee to find out the top 10 board games.
Board games have been around for centuries, and they can be a fun way to spend time with family and friends. So here are the top 10 best-selling board games of all time. At number 10, we have the game of life, with around 50 million copies sold. At number 9, we have the very famous Candyland, with over 50 million copies sold. With number 8, we have Battleship, with 100 million copies sold. Now at number 7, we have the game Trivial Pursuit, and also at number 6, we have the game Clue that has sold around 150 million units sold. Now getting into the top 5, with number 5 we have the game Scrabble that has sold over 150 million units. With number 4 we have the game Monopoly with 275 million units sold. The number 3 spot we have a game that's not very known, which is Backgammon, which has sold 88 million copies. In the number 2 spot we have the game Checkers, which has sold 50 billion units. Finally, in the number 1 spot we have the game Chess, which sells 3 million copies a year. Well, I hope you learned something new today, Cougars. Well, I have to head out because today's family night. I have to prepare to win. So, I'm Kaylee, reporting for CVTV.
Wow, those are some of my favorite board games. But let's go to you, Cougars, to see what your favorite board games are.
My favorite board game is Monopoly.
My favorite board game is Monopoly.
My favorite board game is Cards Against Humanity.
My favorite board game is Candyland.
Hey, my favorite board game is Operation.
Hi, my favorite board game is Monopoly.
Hi, my favorite board game is Life.
Wow, those are some interesting board games. But I gotta go play another game of Monopoly with my friends. I'm Giselle, signing off of CVTV. Teachers, what was the number 1 board game? Email Mr. Walsh your answer.